Good evening, Sharks fans. It is Saturday night, November 9th, 2019, and the Sharks are, can we say, on a roll? They've won 3 in a row. Not the prettiest of ways, but it's not how pretty it is. It's a matter that they got the W. Welcome to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live and interactive Sharks postgame right here on YouTube. We broadcast from Sharks territory, and we bring it to you worldwide. And because it's worldwide, we want you to be a part of the show. So if you want to chat with us and fellow Sharks fans in the YouTube chat on the page or the app, do so. Join us. Let's have a fun time tonight. Follow us on the social, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, all at Teal Town USA. And for more Sharks content, visit tealtownusa.com. That being said, let me join in my fellow guy who spells his name the right way, and it's not Erik Carlson. It is Erik Landi.
Hey, Erik. It's good to see that the Sharks are streaking in the right direction.
They're going streaking. Yes, it's always a good thing to have. It's what's even better is to have me do a show where I'm trying to recover from a sickness earlier this morning. So bear with the voice, people. I'm sure AJ's just waiting for me to say good evening, fans. So kind of get into it right off the get-go here. This thing, I like how Steve Cropper sang redeemed. It's like it's like, is he the Sharks whisperer? JF Turner, Jones played well, great defense and great energy, but it seems like they're starting to turn things around.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a greater emphasis on the defensive game, and I think we're starting to see them sort out their own defensive zone a lot better. Now, mind you, this was gonna have that feeling though of being more of a defensive battle because both teams coming off of giving up a lot of goals in their previous game. You had Nashville coming in off of that 9-4 shellacking by Colorado with 6 goals in that second period. I believe it was a franchise worst. And then, of course, the Sharks almost giving up that game where they won 6-5. So, both teams kind of going into this game with an emphasis on defense. And you know what? It's good to see that the Sharks can hold, a high octane offense to 1 goal. I think for me, that was the best thing that I saw out of this game. You also saw them making good decisions with the puck in their own defensive zone and, kind of refreshing after all of that, at the shooting at the hip kind of hockey, right?
Yeah, and you're seeing that in the chats here. So happy to see them play a full 60 minutes and then some. The intensity was there from Lorianne, Patrick, Tyler saying Jones looked like an actual goalie. Oh, come on. They looked really good. I thought it was a solid effort all around. And so let's get at it. There's really isn't too much to talk about this game-wise. 9:21, Burns takes a pretty bad boarding call. Thankfully, the Nashville player wasn't hurt too much. Nashville gets on the power play. They don't do too much. Some nice saves by Jones in there. Then at 13:30, Nashville takes a couple of penalties. Hamhuis for tripping up Joe Thornton. Hamhuis almost looked like Jim was like, really? You fall on that one? Okay.
Yeah, it was a little weak. Hamhuis was a little weak on his skates there.
Right. 15:43 in honor of our good friend Shalana Goldman. Hella dudes on a frozen pond, served by Anaheim native Rocco Grimaldi. Who's apparently 5'6", which makes me like finally another player, another NHLer besides Darren Payne I can look down on. So, but then of course near the end of the period, Forsberg, it has a nifty little move. Mm-hmm. He's denied by Jones on one side of the post, and then Gambrell comes over and makes a nice stop on the other side of the post. I mean, I think it's obvious, Erik. I think we need to have uh, Gambrell go to defense. I mean, we talk about everybody going to forward. I think now we can have Gambrell go to defense. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, like I said, they were making a lot of I would say that they were doing a good job of making decisions in their own zone, and that is something that we had not seen for the entire season, in my opinion. They were continually giving up turnovers in their own zone, and the forwards were not coming back into the defensive zone to kind of clean up in front of the net. So it was good to see Gambrell low in his own defensive zone and taking the initiative to keep that puck from going in. So, just a 180-degree difference in the defensive zone, in my opinion. That first goal that Jones gave up, it was a very in tight goal, and Forsberg, doing such a great job getting it above Jones, and I think that goal kind of highlights the issues that Jones had been having, in my opinion, where we actually get to see him go into the butterfly, but he leans forward. And we're seeing a lot of goals coming in above the shoulders on Jones. And still, that's what I want to see him kind of work on. I want him to look bigger in the net because he's a big guy. He's not
Right.
using his whole body there. Me and Ian were talking about it, and being a butterfly goalie, you have to get into the butterfly when it goes in tight. That's what you're taught, and that he does. He gets into the butterfly really quick. But what I'm noticing is when he's getting into the butterfly, he leans forward, and I think that's kind of the book on him right now. And I think that's how a lot of goals are going in is he's just playing small sometimes.
And that's the thing. He's a big guy. You got to use that stature. I mean, prime example, Ben Bishop in Dallas uses his whole body. I think in that. I think we remember J.S. Jaguar. Granted, his was a little more goalie pad to increase his size there. Yeah, use his whole body, I think, and make it bigger. I mean, especially when you're coming out to cut off that angle. I think that would be a huge one there. But what a couple of people were saying cheer to as Forsberg was denied by Jones and Gambrell, like Marty T saying if Nashville scored when they had all that momentum at the end of the first, it might have been a different game. And I completely agree on that. That's one of the things that that the Sharks have died on, and had just had lose all that psychological momentum early on. So great play there. One of those little things, Landy, that doesn't get on highlights, not going to make Sports Center or anything like that, but little things like that will go a long way to save a goal and essentially would save this game.
Yeah. I mean, I had a little bit of issue on just the leaning forward with Jones, but other than that, I mean, positionally, he looked better insofar as fronting the puck. I also think that he came up with some really good glove saves, and I don't know if he put some extra time in on the glove hand, but it certainly looked like it. I mean, he had some saves that literally, kept the momentum from going into Nashville's, into Nashville's favor. So,
Right.
I like the way that he was positionally. I just think if he can maybe be a little bit taller, look a little bit taller, and give the shooter a little less daylight above the shoulders, I think he's good if he can continue this positioning that he had tonight.
Yeah, and just keep it going. And outside that Minnesota game, I think he started to get his game back a little bit. I don't know if it's what Johan Hedberg's been helping him out with, or even for that matter, Nabby. It's it's doing the right things, and defensively, I thought it looked really good, even without Mario Ferraro in the lineup. That's another thing we didn't talk about.
Right.
So, thank you, Hockey Jerk. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm rocking the. I don't have the military jersey, so I do rocking my Burnsy All Star game one. So for Military Appreciation Night, Andy Man commenting here. Gambrell consistently improved last 10 games. So has the team defense last 2 nights. Yeah, I definitely think Gambrell's going out there with a lot more confidence, which is nice for sure. Uh,
Yeah, I think Gambrell really shored up his defensive game. I feel like he's stronger on the puck, so it's not getting stripped as quickly or at all, mind you. And he is, being very strong on the puck. So,
yeah,
I feel like he is getting better each game going forward. I like him on the second unit power play, kind of playing the bumper, Pavelski's traditional spot, and
right.
I like him in that spot. So Gambrell, I think, is continuing to develop. I think he's going to take a little bit of time, and kind of like how we saw with Joe Pavelski, it wasn't instant first line winger that we saw out of Joe.
Right.
He kind of had to go from third line center. He played some time with Chloe on the second line. So I think it's going to be I see a good trajectory for Gambrell.
Yeah. Gambrell's looking promising. It's just one of those things.
And I think he too played a really good game for sitting and being a little cold off the bench there. I think he played one of his best games. He was making reads at the right time, making pinches at the right time.
Right.
I liked his breakout passes, and he was pretty strong in his own zone. So, I feel like he, maybe bought himself another audition for another game.
And for his sake, we can only hope that for his down the road, that's what you're gonna need in case somebody gets hurt. Like examples with Ferraro, yeah, he played 13:25 tonight. Brendan Dillon played 13:45 tonight, so that should be interesting to see what went on there. Not sure about all that. Carlson 27:38, Burns 25.5, Mark Edward Vlasic 22.
But we also have the overtime to skew those stats a little bit.
That's true too. That is true. Good point there, Landy. That you probably don't see Brendan Dillon or Shimmick or Heed too much in the overtime. Indeed.
Yeah, except for that penalty kill, which I believe Vlasic and Erik Karlsson played for most of the kill.
Yeah, looking at the numbers now, almost 5 minutes for Karlsson, over 4 minutes for Vlasic. So that'll kind of balance things out when you look at it in the long run, for sure. Let's see here. I'm kind of looking in the chat. See, Sleepy Mofo saying, Sharks finally found the proper fourth line center to replace Tierney. No disrespect to Goodrow.
But you know what, though? And speaking of Goodrow, I've liked him in that second line right winger spot. To me, he's able to keep up with Hurdle and keep up with Timo. He brings a little bit more of a nastiness that I think is lacking in Timo's game right now. And I think we're starting to see Timo kind of come around, and hopefully tonight's shootout goal, helps out. But yeah, I've liked Goodrow up in the second line right winger spot.
And he's like I've said this a couple of times already this season, but Landy, doesn't it seem like when he scored the overtime goal against Vegas, he's definitely gotten so much more confidence.
To me, coming into the season and throughout these what are we, 18 games in now, he's been the most improved forward, I think. And I feel like, to me, he put in the time in the off season to kind of shore up his game. And I have liked what I have seen from Goodrow. I think I always liked him coming out of junior in North Bay. He played that kind of prototypical power forward style. It was a really radar kind of acquisition, being an undrafted free agent. And he's turning into a little bit of a player,
Yeah.
and he can hang.
Definitely. Well, before we continue on, as many would say, the elephant in the room, Lorianne, what's with all the screeching from the stands? It was really bad a couple of games ago, and they were still doing it. Since I'm from Canada, can someone find and slap those responsible for me? Okay, wait a minute. So there's been much discussion this week, for that matter, about the wooing. And we've gone over it a couple of times and everything. But, tonight it seemed like they were a horror movie on the Jumbotron because somebody was like just screeching. And I like, oh my God. Like, oh
like
my God.
Slashed in the upper deck, right? Yeah. And it's bad too when it comes through on the broadcast. That's the thing is it's so loud and you can hear the wooing through the TV. And, for the most part, like if we're in the last 5 minutes and you're leading quite a bit and you're doing the wooing, okay, people get drunk, have fun. I've done it. Yes, I've wooed in the tank, in the last 5 minutes of a game. Sure.
Landi.
But the screeching is next level, man.
Hey, we always take our games to the next level. That's what we learned from Randy and Drew all those years, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I also wanted to just quickly to go over the goalie and just kind of go over a little bit why maybe the positioning was a little bit better tonight. It looks like Adam Francila has been around the team for the last few days. He's a goalie consultant for the Sharks. And so I was kind of going over that a little bit on Twitter saying, it's good to have another outside perspective on the goalies, and maybe that helped. Maybe he's seeing something in Jones' game that Hedberg and Nabby can't quite see. Because you have a little bit more distance on the goaltender. Maybe it helped out a little bit, but we'll continue to see. And the goaltending is going to get a big test come Tuesday night when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl come into town.
A fresh set of eyes, can always capture something that you really haven't seen or gotten away with you throughout the days, weeks, months, for sure. Just another Randy G, a $10 super chat. Thank you very much for that. We're saying him, I was a bad Sharks fan. I assumed they were going to lose and went out with friends and got drunk instead of watching this game. This is my penance. Go Sharks. Well, Randy, we appreciate the donation. Of course, all the super chat money does go back to help support the show and the website.
I mean, you can hear the audio difference, right? So that is your donation dollars at work, people.
Absolutely.
And we definitely appreciate it. But the real question is, Randy, what were you drinking? What is the craft brew du jour for you? Interesting, coming in from the post game from Peter DeBoer, saying there were no passengers tonight, but Hurdle was exceptional, and I have to agree. To me, Erik, I think he's the strongest center the Sharks have right now.
Yeah, and he's been looking really, really sharp. He got off to a little bit of a schneid, but he's definitely started to pick it up. And again, this team with this 3-game win streak, and even the couple of losses that were sprinkled in beforehand, have started to get their legs, have started feeling their confidence. I think Shalana, Pashelka, and Kuhre all have said that at practice. So there's that. We might have found the reasoning behind it, and of course it's AJ on the Teal Town account saying, rumor has it that Mrs. Vlasic ran into Finn and couldn't contain herself. As we all know, the Vlasics love their dogs, so
You know what? And that is actually a great segue, even though we joke about it. Vlasic's game tonight, since he's been paired with Erik Karlsson, I feel like both of those two, their game has trended in the right direction. I have never been a fan of the pickle snake pairing. We have seen that experiment happen time and time again, and for whatever reason, those two they just can't get on the same wavelength. I like him with Erik
Yep.
Karlsson. And again, I think tonight was one of Vlasic's better games that we've seen, which is good because, oh my goodness, that contract was starting to look like an albatross there for a
Oh
second.
boy.
But it's good to see him really get back to his roots with the stick play. And I would like to see maybe a little bit more physicality from him because right now that pairing is basically stick check galore or die. They're not ones for taking the body, both Erik Karlsson and Vlasic. So maybe add a little bit of that element to Vlasic's game, and I think it could take that pairing next level. But so far, putting them together, I've liked what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Sleepy Mofo so far with the comment of the night. EK65 is the pickle whisperer.
Hey, you know what? It could be, and it's interesting because I was listening to the Puck Soup podcast, and they were saying that maybe Justin Braun was the superstar
Oh boy.
holding together.
No. Let's get back into this thing. Second period now, 4:05 in. Hurdle tries to tried to play the puck. He tripped up, I forget who it was, but he set up a Nashville power play. Some nice saves again by Jones. He had a good night all around. And then at 14:44, Forsberg, does a power move around Erik Karlsson. Jones, like you said, looked a little small, and he gets it up over the shoulder to make it 1-0 Nashville. What did you think of that goal? I'm sure there are many wanting to ask who's to blame on that goal. You know,
Well, for me, it's twofold, right? You've got Erik Karlsson, and he's trying to find the puck, so that's gonna make him, he's gonna be searching for it, so he's not gonna have time to make a stick check, not gonna have enough time to try and poke it away because first he doesn't know where exactly the puck is.
right.
Me and Ian Reed were talking a little bit about it, and it's a do or die situation there because Jones, he's basically, because he's playing a little bit further back into his crease, he's got to go to the butterfly quickly, and when he does that, he leans forward, and that's what opens up the hole above his right shoulder.
Right.
So Ian says he'd like to see Jones come out and challenge that a little quicker to make a little bit better of a read there.
Yeah.
In my opinion, even if Jones is staying in the same positioning that he is now and he does go into that butterfly, I just want him to kind of lean his whole body back just a little bit so that he's got so he's covering the top side of the goal just a little bit more, and it would have hit him right in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's twofold. Yes, it's a defensive breakdown by Erik Karlsson, but of course, the puck's in his feet and he's trying to find it. You can understand that. And then again with Jones, he's kind of playing a little deep in his net, and it's arguable depending on what he's taught. He's normally a goaltender that sits deeper into the net anyways.
Right.
So it's understandable there, but again, it's just the leaning forward, and you do see that, and I think it's because that's kind of the way he tracks the puck, right? When you do see him come out to challenge, especially on the breakaways, you do notice he kind of tucks his whole body in, and is trying to front the shooter that way, and to me, that's a little bit of a bad habit.
Well, yeah, a little bit, but that being said, that's the only goal he allowed, even in the shootout. So,
Yeah, and that's a minor gripe,
Yeah,
that's just a little bit of a fix to apply to him, and that fixes a lot. I mean, besides that, that was the only time that I thought that it was not a questionable kind of read, but a little bit where I'd like to see it a little bit different. But again, not a big gripe. I think he played excellent tonight.
yeah,
It's certainly on the stat sheet. He has a bounce back game. So
yeah. In 24 of 25 saves, I think it was a solid night for him. Like some people are saying, you know, Evan Escher saying I usually criticize Carlson, but there wasn't much at fault there.
right.
I think it was a tough one for him to get, but at the same time, you could do. I don't know what else you could do either way. So I think it was just a good play by Flip Forsberg, who's a really solid player. He gets his eighth to make it 1-0. Right after that, Rocco Grimaldi gets called for tripping during that power play. Fabro takes a deflected shot to the face.
Ooh, that
That
was
was
bad.
rough.
Yeah, immediately when I saw that's broken jaw. I mean, that it came right off the chin, had a gusher right there, but that was broken jaw. And he comes back in the third, late in the third, with the full face shield. So
Right.
there's something going on there, and yeah, I think that's broken jaw territory right away.
And that's gonna be a rough one for sure. AJ saying, did Jones have a good game? Absolutely, but that needs to be the rule, not the exception, in my opinion. I completely agree. I mean, you need your goaltender to be a tending goal and stopping pucks going in the net easily. And tonight, I think we hope is the first way getting there.
Yeah, and his contract dictates that.
Right.
He's paid as an upper level goaltender. I won't say he's in the upper echelon, but he's paid to be above average, right? And right now, through the season, I can say I pretty confidently that he's been a below average goaltender, but he's strung together some wins now. Tonight definitely looked better positionally. So you know what? If he can continue that and he can hold Edmonton to under 2 goals, I think we're gonna start to see some better games played out of him.
Yep. And let's hope this continues on. Word. Third period now. This is where the Sharks tie it up. Hurdle, with like we've been saying, he's been coming on strong. PDB mentioned that he was playing exceptional tonight. He gets his seventh from Vlasic and Erik Karlsson. That ties the game up at 1-1 at 5:22. What did you think of the goal there? I think I've been thinking that Hurdle's kind of been groomed to be the replacement tipper of the squad.
Yes, but for me at least, he has such a talent holding that puck down low. It reminds me of a very young Joe Thornton, and not in the way that Hurdle passes, because I don't think Hurdle is nearly as good a passer, but puck possession wise and holding the puck below the goal line or below the red line. Boy, he is hard to move off that puck, and showed it again there, went to the dirty area and was rewarded for it. And that was something that we were not seeing from him early on in the season, but
Yeah.
now he's put in the work and you get rewarded. And I think that that's what the team needs to see, is if they put in the work, stick to the plan, and insofar as the way in which their schemes are set up, they will be rewarded. But they have to be committed to playing defensive hockey. And I think in the first, let's say, 10 games, they weren't committed to that.
I agree. And you know what? I take that back. They originally had it as EK65. They gave it to Timo Meyer on,
Yeah,
on
I
the
did
assist,
see.
so I
Yeah,
apologize
I
on
did
that.
see Timo with a tip. I thought that was going to be a Vlasic from Timo to Hurdle.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they did that, because I did see Timo's initial tip, and Timo had a strong game tonight too. I liked the way that he was playing tonight. To me again, being a bull on the puck down low And that's exactly what he needs to do. That's the type of game that he plays. He needs to be abrasive. He needs to be pissed off, and he needs to piss another other players' Cheerios, if you catch my drift.
Well, and he's had, so essentially, I think if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 games, 2 goals and an assist. Yes, one goal was an empty netter, but hey, you take what you can get. So whatever you get, go for it. I mean, just keep at it, boy, and keep it going. This team needs everybody to pitch in right now. Hey, hashtag Teal together. 8:52. LeBanc takes a hooking call. Nashville was buzzing around there, and some nice stops late in the game there. 13:44. Forsberg takes a tripping call. I thought for sure the Sharks were getting one in. They put some relentless pressure, but then they kind of eased off a little bit at the end. But I thought that was a really good power play tonight.
Yeah, I thought the power play looked good. I thought the second unit struggled just a skosh, if I use an AJism, on the entries. I feel like Marlowe needed to make some better dump-ins to me, because he put it kind of into a place where Saros could play it, and I did see that. I did happen to see that a few different times where Saros was able to get to the puck and able to rim it out and start the breakout. But other than that, I thought that the first unit had some really good looks, and I think you kind of see why the team is ranked. Well, they were ranked 6th in the NHL on the power play, but their special teams have been special throughout the throughout the first 18 games. I think the only redeeming thing that we could say about the team, that the only thing of the game that, or only part of their game that we want to see them moving forward is the fabulous special teams.
Absolutely. So this game would go into overtime, second overtime game for the Sharks this season. I thought they got a lot of good looks, just couldn't bury them in. Then Evander Kane takes a penalty late that puts the Predators on the power play. I was a little iffy on that one. I think you could have maybe let that go, but okay. Jones with a couple of strong saves to keep the Sharks from getting just the loser point in this one at the end. I thought it was fantastic.
And that glove save when he's down and out for the count, and he just sticks up his glove and is able to grab that puck midair. That was a damn good save. And again, the glove work tonight looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Looked a lot better, because he was getting beat glove high quite a bit. But yeah, and I didn't really like the call either. I thought, Kane, yes, it was a hook, but it was a fraction of a second that the stick went parallel, and I think the refs just kind of saw the stick go parallel, and even if you just see it for a fraction of a second, they're calling that all day, all night. So you've got to be a little bit smarter in your defensive zone, but Jonesy really bailing out the team and being the best PKer on that 4-on-3.
Yep. And great job on on that penalty kill. I mean, again, Nashville's got one of the most potent power plays around. Roman Josi has 10 power play points. So definitely a great one to go into a shootout. And this shootout went 7 rounds with some great moves. But overall, last one was Timo Meier. He goes top shelf where Bubba hides the cookies, and bangs one in. That's the only goal in the shootout. In this, that would be the game deciding goal.
The game deciding goal in the sudden death shootout when you get out into the round 7 territory there. Actually, after the first 3 rounds, you go into the sudden death.
Right.
However, for me, I think another reason why we saw this as a low scoring game, the ice looked very soft. You saw the puck stick on the ice quite a few different times. I mean, we saw it on LeBanc when he tries to go backhand It just flips up on him. And I think that tonight really the ice it slowed down the game for sure, and I think that puts it in the Sharks' favor. But you definitely saw that the teams were not trying to do too many jukes or too many pump fakes or head fakes or whatever, and really just trying to be careful with the puck, because I don't think most of them knew where that thing was going tonight.
Yep. And it definitely dictates some of the play too. I remember a couple of them were turned over. I think there was a lot of turnovers that caused a lot of these things, and something to look into, because yes, while it is 70 degrees and a beautiful day in San Jose, you're getting, and even Vlasic was complaining about the choppiness of the ice tonight. Something's got to give on the ice, because it definitely needs to be taken care of quickly. So, final stats on the night: 32-25 in favor of San Jose. Faceoffs around even, 55-45. Or if you take the NHL.com math, 55-46. Both teams went 0 for 4 on the power play. The hits were about even. Same were the blocks. Giveaways 12-9 in favor of San Jose. Looking at the stats here, you have Meyer with an assist, along with Hurdle and Vlasic on their lone goal. Like we said, Martin Jones 24-25 with a .960 save percentage in overtime. We talked about the minutes already. Noah Gregor with a .519. Melker making his return at .955. And again, Gambrell giving some meaningful .854 ice time, and 146 on the power play. Should be interesting about, let's see if that gets built up a little bit. So
the one player though that I wish got a little bit more ice time, because I really have liked what I've seen, is Noah Gregor. That he is a player that I think they need to integrate more into the offense, because he has got some wheels, man. He beat out that icing, and was able to have some sustained pressure in the offensive zone, and I've liked Gregor's game. I've also liked Leon Bergman's game too, and wish that he would have stayed up. But of course, when you're activating Dalton Prout, who was activated today,
right.
Somebody's got to go down. So, and then the other thing that I wanted to chime in on quickly, and it has nothing to do with the Sharks, but Felix, you might also want to take a look at Taylor Guitars. It's a San Diego brand, and they make good guitars, and especially electric acoustics. Just saying. But back on the but yeah, back kind of going off of the numbers there. The 5 minutes 19 seconds. He's the skater with the lowest amount of ice time was Noah Gregor, and I think that he's I think that he's played well, and I feel like he's been defensively sound, and I wish DeBoer would integrate him a little bit more. So yeah, and exactly, Phantom 0044. Only one problem, Landi. PDB is his coach, and
right.
You know what? That's fair, because PDB, we know how he is with his veterans.
Absolutely. So, Sharks win this one 2-1 on Military Appreciation Night, and of course, speaking of veterans, we salute all of you who serve. Thank you very much for your service on this Veterans Day and Remembrance Day. Your pops. I know we know a lot of military members. I know Steve Cropper got some shout out during Twitter mission, of course. I know a good friend of mine on Twitter, Run Along Caitlin. Her husband, Jeremy Smith, is serving over on the other side of the country. I think also Christina Berlini, her boyfriend James, does some military service. So for everyone who's served or is serving, thank you very much for your service. We do appreciate it.
Their sacrifice lets us do this show and lets us enjoy some hockey, and not have to worry about who's on the doorstep, right? So we really appreciate it. And man, I don't know if you caught the ceremony earlier this evening, but it was really good on the Sharks to have Burnsy take the face off. against Roman Yossi.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he walked the gentleman down the carpet. And yeah, it was a really, really good production as far as just honoring the veterans tonight. So thank you.
Yep. And Dave B, of course, also served as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So thank you very
Air
much.
Force, I believe, for Dave B.
Yep.
So
So with that, is it time?
oh yeah, you gotta love that reach around time.
What?
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
And R. Lee Ermey there with the veterans reference. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, and with that, before we go with the NHL, we'll keep it local with the San.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Your San Jose Barracuda were in Bakersfield tonight. Obviously, they couldn't play at the same time the Sharks did, but they did. They lose 6-3 to the Bakersfield Condors. Latunov, Carrick, and McCarthy with your goals on the night. John McCarthy gets his 300th point on probably one of the easiest giveaways ever. It was very Urbe-ish, right on the receiving pass of John McCarthy there. Trevor Carrick had a power play goal in this one. We tried to gif it, but the camera angle wouldn't allow us to. So Latunov banged one in right on the crease for that one. So a tough night for the Barracuda. They lose this one. That being said, they play tomorrow at home against the San Diego Gulls. Tickets available at sjbarracuda.com for that one. So moving onward to the National Hockey League and what happened on this night on Frozen Pond as what was his name? Crap. I forgot his name. He's on Mike Tirico. Thank you. Mike Tirico would say it on there. Islanders 2-1 over the Panthers.
Oh boy, and they are scorching hot right now. I believe they're at 12 games with points so far.
Yeah.
You know what? Barry Trotz and Mitch Korn do some magical wizardry there, and the goaltending is just lights out right now.
Yep. Earlier today in Stockholm, Sweden, where the Sharks once played, Tampa Bay beat the Sabres 5-3. It was Maroon, Hedman, Maroon again, Yanni Gordon, Joseph getting the goals for Tampa Bay. Carter Hutton takes the loss for the Sabres. In the shootout, did you reason say something, Landi?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that that Reinhart has also been having a great series over there. I believe he has 3 goals in 2 games, so really loving playing in front of the Swedish crowd.
Hey, I think what was it last year? The Global Series, I think it was in Finland, and that's where Patrick Laine got off of his schneid and got going. So, like Marty T saying, Buffalo slumping after a strong start. It seems like every time they play the Sharks and beat the Sharks in Buffalo, these last 2 seasons, they would be on a hot streak and then just fall apart afterwards. So, moving onward, the Leafs.
Yeah, the Leafs. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Leafs lose 3-2 in the shootout. They also lose Mitch Marner.
Right. And that's the big one there, because he tries to come back on the ice, I think 2 or 3 different times and is not able to go. So you're left wondering, okay, is it something a little bit more structural with that ankle? But boy howdy, if they lose him, and already kind of on I guess already flirting with the injury bug with JT having been out,
Right.
That's not going to spell good things for the Maple Leafs, who are now a concerning 500 NHL 500 right now for the Maple Leafs.
Yep, 9-5-4 on the campaign. Philly picks up the victory on this one, where we had Claude Giroux gripping and ripping in the shootout tonight.
Oh yeah.
In Montreal, Shea Weber with 2 power play goals. He now has 101 power play goals in his career. He leads the Montreal Canadiens to a 3-2 victory over the Los Angeles Kings. Kopitar gets his 5th of the season. Not enough for the Kings in that one. No storm surge in Ottawa tonight. The Senators pick up their 6th win of the season, beating the Hurricanes 4-1. Nemestikov with his 6th of the season. Shevchenkov with his 7th of the season. They're almost as many OVs as the OV line. Nice try, though. Another game that went into the shootout. The Penguins beat the Blackhawks 3-2. In this one, Gensel and Russ, the goal scorers in there. Patrick Kane gets his 6th of the season for the Blackhawks. Not enough. And in a rematch of the 2018 Stanley Cup Final, thank you, Washington. The Vegas Golden Knights lose to the Washington Capitals 5-2. Riley Smith and Max Pacioretty the only goal scorers for the Golden Knights.
Nicky Backstrom with 2 goals. You got Kuznetsov. Oh boy, you're gonna have to help me with that one. Siegenthaler.
Siegenthaler.
Siegenthaler. Thank you. Oh my goodness. With the goal as well. Tom Wilson also chipping in a goal. Tom Wilson with already 8 goals on the campaign.
He's on the run too, big time. In Arizona, the Desert Dogs. Oh, and I just got some water. Excuse me.
Have some nice Arnold Palmer here.
There we go. And we get rehydrated there. The Coyotes lose 4-3 to the Minnesota Wild. Ryan Hartman and Matt Dumba, two of the guys who were taking shots at the Sharks, had the two final goals for the Minnesota Wild for their victory. They get to 6-10-1 on the season there. In Colorado, no Jonas Donskoy hat trick, but Cale Makar gets, I believe, 2 goals tonight.
Yep, two goals tonight. That's 4 on the campaign for Makar. Nazem Kadri and Samuel Girard with the goals as well.
Yeah, so the Avalanche continue to roll without Grubauer or Rantanen doing their thing. In Calgary, the Flames lose in overtime thanks to David Perron's overtime goal at 2:46 to give the Blues a 3-2 victory. The Flames now are 10-7-3 on there, and the Blues go to 12-3-3 on the campaign. Just another Randy G. Oh my goodness, you all are best. I love hearing this post-game podcast almost as much as I love listening to Randy Hahn.
Hey, you know what? Randy G's playing for that craft beer 6-pack tonight. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it immensely. And of course, the Sharks win 2-1. They go to 7-10-1 on the season. Preds fall to 9-5-3 on this one. So that's it for your wraparound. A lot of Pacific losses, perfect, as Phantom 0044 says. Definitely helps things out. And it is early to look at standings, but when you have something like this and the Sharks are going on a streak, it's nice to see that they're getting closer and closer to getting back to real 500 mark.
I mean, definitely this was going to be the critical time to pull this tailspin out. Now they are not in the cellar of the Western Conference. They're actually right behind Dallas. Dallas with 17 points. The Sharks sit in 6th position in the Wild or in the West. So both teams starting off very, very slowly, but now both teams are on streaks. Dallas has won their last 4 and are 7-3 in the last 10, and the Sharks are 4-5-1, but they've won 3 of their last. Won their last 3 games, so they're also streaking in the right direction too.
Yep. And the Sharks currently sit 5 points out of a wild card spot, or essentially 6 points out of one of the top 3 spots. Which it's been a while since we've seen Western Canada take the top 3 spots. Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, 2 great starts to all 3 teams. Calgary kind of been on and off, but they've picked up their loser points here and there.
What are we in the early 90s? I mean, this is like the
80s for sure.
Yeah, this was considered the Western Canada swing was considered one of the worst for opposing teams going through it. So it's interesting to see Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver all taking the top 3 spots. However, those teams are kind of they're kind of treading water right now, and this is a good time for the Sharks to heat up because Edmonton's 4-4-2 in their last 10.
Yep.
Calgary's 5-3-2 in their last 10, and Vancouver is 5-2-3 in their last 10. So all hovering around 500. And so, if you can put together a little bit of a streak here, you can get yourself back in gear and really make a run in the next 3 quarters of the season.
Yeah. And it's looking like that. And the top 2 wildcard spots are held by Pacific teams. Vegas and Arizona. I mean, so it's right there. It's right nearby for sure.
And it's interesting too because we don't talk a lot about this, but maybe that was the right time to really suck, was the first quarter of the season, because the Central Division teams haven't really gotten their footing yet, especially with Winnipeg and all of their issues on the back end. Dallas has had some tough going integrating a bunch of new forwards, and San Jose just not getting off to a great start.
Yep.
But you know what? We've seen this team be very bipolar, meaning that they'll go through a horrible tough stretch and then pull out a 10-game winning streak. So it's like, you never know what to expect with this team. Maybe they're starting to feel it a little bit better, right. and maybe they can climb back into this thing. And especially with Vegas. I mean, Vegas has gone 4-3-3. They're below 500 in their last 10.
What?
And
oh no.
Yeah.
You either not invincible?
Yeah, I know, right? And Arizona too is starting to slow down a little bit. They've lost their last 2 games. Anaheim falling back to earth finally at 4-5-1. So you know what? It's a good time for the Sharks to step on the gas and get back into this.
And it'll be a nice schedule coming up. I mean, AJ and the crew will do Pucknologist tomorrow night. So, excuse me. So you'll have the review of that. But coming this week, you have Edmonton at home. You go to Anaheim. And if you're going to Anaheim, I will see you there. Come and say hi. Myself and Amanda will be there at the game. And then you have Detroit on Shark Freak night. So you have an interesting schedule. You kind of have the good, the and the meh this week. And if you can get 4 out of 6, I think that'll be really nice. If you can get 6 out of 6, you're right back in this thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we've seen the Sharks do this before, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. And you know what? Maybe Radim Shimmick is our Lord and Savior. Sorry, but no. In all seriousness, though, I mean the defense looks like it's slotting into the right spots now.
Right.
And I've always loved his physical presence that he's brought to the blue line. And just for God's sakes, DeBoer, please don't put in Dalton Prout for Heat or Ferraro. I mean, really, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't fall to your instincts of putting in a slugger.
It's like prior to this season, because we've all heard about the Spezza thing, but it's like Mike Babcock with veterans on the Leafs. They're a good player. And yes. Yes, donate now to help a guy get a better bottle of NyQuil. Yeah, no, that's talk about shots. That's what I'm going to be taking once we go off the air. So, yes,
shoe shine with a great one though. Don't go into OT against Edmonton. Yeah, because you're going to see a lot of Leon Draisaitl,
right,
and Connor McDavid.
Exactly. And my goodness, have we not heard this a billion jillion times? Stay out of the penalty box. The Sharks are the worst team in the league. Granted, they got a good penalty kill.
I was going to say that, man, they must not be listening to Zach.
Yeah, what the heck?
We've got the most penalties
got him on the
against.
Jumbotron, and they still didn't listen to him. Come on.
Yeah, and Rob Iman with the Fact or Fiction. I think this is a really good one that Rob brings up is, do we see Dalton Prout play against Edmonton? I don't think so, and the reason why I say that is just because of how fleet of foot Connor McDavid and Leon is. I don't see him putting it in, but especially those games come against Vegas later in the month. I do see that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I do see him going in. Zach, yeah, exactly. They don't listen to you.
Yeah. We're sorry. We wish we could. You would have thought with all the access you got this week that they would finally listen to you. At least they got a couple of wins for you, including tonight as well. So
yeah, in another week, the Sharks will change the name from SAP Center to the ZAK Center.
Yes.
But you know what? I have a little bit of a pet theory about the whole penalties against thing. I wonder if this is not the refs kind of clamping down and kind of protecting one of their own because of the whole Evander Kane incident in the preseason, because we did see that Chris Weidman effect on Calgary, and no matter what the NHL wants to tell you, the refs union, they are a tight bunch. They really are, and it would not surprise me if that's kind of why we were seeing them get into penalty trouble very early. I don't want to be the conspiracy theory here, and that's why I bring up the Chris Weidman incident, because they had to pay a penalty tax for that incident for sure.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, I'm curious. Let's see how many PIMs does Evander Kane have this season? Because I thought, yeah, he's got 22.
Oh, Dennis Weidman, excuse me, not Chris. Thank you.
So, but it is what it is. And you just gotta play through it. If that means you have to play 7-on-5, then so be it. So not even gonna put that one up. Okay. Zach, come on. Jeez.
Oh my goodness. Hey Zach, well, I mean, you did such a good job with going to San Jose and getting all of that attention and just, really ratcheting it up at the tank. Why don't you go to the Situation Room, see if you can't get some all access passes there? We'd love to see what goes on in there.
And tell them to get their crap together, right?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, in case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com, or you can listen audio only on your favorite podcatcher, where there's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and a ton more. So we'll be back with you on Tuesday night as the Sharks welcome Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and James Neal, and a bunch of other teams that are, that call themselves the Edmonton Oilers.
They might as well just rename the team, though, to the Edmonton McDavids.
Right? So
with the amount of time that he plays on the ice, is like, what, 25 minutes for a forward?
That's going to be concerning if they do make the playoffs, though, for sure. But, hey, the other guys in that team need to get going if they're going to see any shot. So
yeah, that is for sure, because that is it. As good as they have been right now, that will really bite them come second half, because he is not going to have a lot of gas left.
Yeah. So that'll sleepy off. Leon is the wrong way to spell it. It's Leon. Right. Right. All right. Landi, your final thoughts on where the people can find you.
Final thoughts. Let's put together another good defensive effort against Edmonton. You know what? I will take the defense over the offense all day. And you know what? I know the ghost of Brody Brazil is going to come after me somewhere, but the two or fewer hashtag, I think, is in good order for that game. As far as where you can follow me using my first name. That's Erik, spelled the right way with a K.
That's right.
Landi, Landi, on all of the social media garbage. We've got I've got some cool stuff coming out. I'm going to be launching a new YouTube channel with a couple of buddies of mine, so be on the lookout for that.
Wait.
It's tech stuff, so not hockey related at all, but I will be using my skills that I have honed here on that. So appreciate it, everybody, and I'd love to come see you guys out on the pet project I got going.
It scared the crap out of me when you were saying, I was like, what the hell?
Oh no, this is just we're doing like kind of how you can get into YouTubing, or people can put together computers with that are based upon kind of more mainstream things, instead of
Gotcha.
the fancy rigs that you see on YouTube all over the place. This is more of like an everyman's kind of podcast. So
Gotcha. All right. So I hear you on another hockey podcast, so help you.
no way.
All right. And I'm at PuckGuy14. I'm not even going to look that one either. I am at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. You can find me there. We'll be back with you Tuesday night following Sharks and Oilers. Should be a good one there. So with that, thank you for watching. We appreciate it immensely. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on the social media. Check out our videos right above here. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you Tuesday, and have a good one.